Hi, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to Meditation Minyan. I'm Rabbi Hannah Leslie Glazer, Congregation of Dat Reim, and we welcome all of you who are joining us either live on our Zoom or watching the recording afterwards. We are going through a series of meditations about gratitude and thankfulness. And last week, we talked about a term called Hakarat Hatov, which is about recognizing and naming the good. And we're going to take that a step further today by talking about the act of blessing. And so much, so much of our Jewish prayer book is about the term, it has the term blessed is, Baruch, and Baruch atah Adonai, blessed are you, or just, Baruch is something. And then, so blessing is one of the most common terms that we have in our Jewish prayer book. And it is really interesting to know that anytime we're saying a blessing, we're actually giving thanks. We're appreciating that thing that we've either been given or the way that we appreciating the way that we connect with something greater than ourselves. Every time we say one of those Baruch phrases in a prayer book, it's about giving thanks. So that's the concept we're going to be working with today, is the blessing, the idea of blessing. And in Jewish tradition, as I said, it's all over the Jewish prayer book, that term Baruch, and it's also a very important practice in Jewish tradition. There's even a commandment, an invitation to say 100 blessings per day, which is 100 statements that have Baruch in them, which could involve just saying a bunch of the prayers. You'd already get a bunch that way. But also, there are blessings for all kinds of other things too in Jewish practice. So there's blessings we could say before we eat. There's blessings we could say after we eat. There's blessings for seeing something really beautiful or doing something for the first time, seeing a rainbow, being in the presence of like a really wise and learned teacher. There are blessings for the first time we see the fruit trees flower in the spring. There's a blessing for that. It's a blessing upon hearing good news. There's all kinds of blessings. And really, when it goes down to it, 100 blessings over the course of a day, you'd be saying a lot of blessings. But the idea is that we could really be appreciating so much in our lives. And what would it be like if we were to even try to appreciate 50 things, or even 20 things every day? And, to actually speak that out, speak it into words, and to be conscious of it. So this concept of blessing is an extension of Hakarat Tov, of recognizing the good, but it's also connecting it with, as I said, sort of a spiritual connection, and making it a spiritual practice, and adding the spiritual dimension, which helps us to connect it with something greater than ourselves, that is affording these great things to happen. Like the fact that the Zoom works on my phone when it doesn't work on the computer. I am very grateful for that. So I'm going to invite you now into our meditation. So I invite you to get comfortable in your seats. And slow down your breath and get settled in. Slow down the breath by having our out breath be just a little bit longer than our in breath. Now check in with your posture and your body. See if you need to pull your shoulders up and back and down again so that they're rotated inward on the back and opening up the heart space in the front. See if you need to release your jaw or your forehead, your hands, your feet, your legs. Take a moment to breathe into any areas of the body that have tension. So last week, we engaged in a practice of Hakarat Hatov, of recognizing the good in our lives. And this is an extension of that now, of blessing the good in our lives. Blessing it is not only saying that something is good and appreciating it as good, but it's also extending that gratitude outward and connecting it with something outside of ourselves that likely provided us with that thing that we're grateful for. This could be a person, could be a group, could be a situation, it could be God, the universe, whatever you choose to connect to. Blessing is an extension of recognizing the good in our lives. So you can play around with that imagery a little bit, the idea of extending, coming across something that is inherently good in your life. And what does it look like to put some appreciation around that thing or that situation? A warm glow, perhaps, a bright light. And what would it be like then to extend it even further into a blessing? What would that look like? And what would that blessing reach? Where would it reach? You may wish to think a little bit also about what some of the blessings are you have in your life. And if you feel comfortable speaking those out, naming them. If you're muted, of course, you can say anything you like. I'm the only one who's spotlit here, so the recording is not catching anyone else. So you can do that if you wish for some chunk of our meditation time of actually speaking out the things that you want to bless and using some blessing language with it. In English, you could say that The bright leaves outside are to be blessed. The bright leaves outside are a blessing in my life. That's some language that could be useful in the English, or come up with your own. And you can also use the word Baruch. Baruch is blessed. And you may wish to think about what are all the blessings that are out there in our lives. What adds to and enhances our day, our outlook, our hopes. What helps us feel better about living in this world that we have around us. And be very curious at times. There's still blessings all around it. So let's find a way to connect with those blessings today. So we've got about 8 minutes left in our time here. I'm going to mute in just a moment and allow you to explore the spiritual practice of blessing as a mode of giving thanks. And I'll come back in 8 minutes to bring us back out.
Rabbi, you're muted.
Thanks everyone for joining us at Meditation Minyan. And we're glad to have you with us. And we're going to be continuing our series of gratitude through the month of November. And love to hear your experience with it. Thanks again for joining us.